folks, I'm here today to show you how to give an injured or sick dog a pill when their jaws or teeth have been injured or that they're just too sick to have any kind of appetite. Normally you can trick a dog into having a pill through some meat or some cheese, but I'm going to show you how to do it when they won't even want to eat because they're so injured. Okay, so what you want to do is these were the pills that our vet actually gave us for our dog. And I'm just going to use an example because I already gave her a medication for the day. So I'm just going to use some chondroitin, which is a vitamin supplement for older dogs to help with their bones. So let's see, so maybe something like half of this one would be about the size of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and pulverize it. So if you have this kind of a device, we're going to put it in there and we're just going to grind it into a fine powder as well as we can. It's not critical that you get every piece of powder or every flake. When I talk to our vet, it's okay if it doesn't 100% get in, because usually their prescriptions are just a little bit over because they go by weight and they round up. So this is what the powder is going to look like. And if you don't have this kind of device, what you can do is you can take a couple spoons, use a little catch basin. I'll grab another portion of the chondroitin, and we're going to use that as our sample medication. So then you put it in there, and what you're going to do is you can hold it and just grind away. The 2 spoons pulverizing the medication. And you're just going to let it spill and seep on out into the catch basin. As you can see, some of the pill came out, so we can just throw that back in there. You can take some of the larger pieces and go back in and pulverize it again between the 2 spoons. But since you got it down to this point, you can just kind of grind it. Use this and just powder and grind as fine as possible, because it'll be easier to masquerade the taste once we go and we get ready. Okay, so this is going to work for our purposes right here. You have that going. You see the powder, how it looks. And I'm just going to put that aside. So now comes the more tricky part. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get some meat. So we want to get some chicken, turkey, or maybe some salmon. You want to stay away from some red meats, porks, heavy, fatty meats. We want some something healthy, just kind of like when you're sick, you don't want to have any steak or anything like that. You want some chicken soup. So we got some chicken in the can, packed in water. And what we're going to do is I kind of skipped a step to kind of shorten the video. I took this out and I poured chunk by chunk inside my blender. So this is what it's looking like. I pureed it. I put it in there. I blend it until it got to a nice mixture like that. I added maybe a tablespoon of water, and since it wasn't thick and creamy, and that's the key, you want it thick and creamy. You don't want it with a lot of fibers of the hair and stringiness of the meat. So as you can see, the kind of texture that we're going for. To help with the gooey pudding texture, what I did was I took some organic baby food, and it doesn't have to be organic, but what you really want is vegetables. You don't want the peaches or the pears or anything sweet, because if they're not eating, they need all the nutrients they can get. So I put some of this in to help get the mixture, and just do tiny bit by tiny bit until you get this kind of pudding sort of mixture. And then once I got that going, I took a tiny bit of this, which I'm going to put the processor away because you can see how it looks right in there. And I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to take our pulverized pill that we did earlier, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a fraction of what I got in my spoon already and put it in there. I don't want to put in more than necessary. I'm going to do minimal amount, just enough to cover the pill, and I'm just going to kind of powder it in there and just kind of mush it around, and doing what I have to do to get it into a little ball. Now this is kind of the critical part, because You don't want it as thick as peanut butter, but you want it a little bit soft. Not so much that it's liquid that it's hard to handle, and then when you go to put it in your dog's mouth, it just melts and spreads all over your fingers. So you don't want it as soft as, like, say, butter, softened butter. That would be too runny. And you don't want it like peanut butter, because what would happen if it was the texture of peanut butter, they're going to be able to lap it out because it would stay in the ball shape, and they'll just be able to spit it out. You want the texture creamy enough so that if they try to lap it out with their tongue and push it out, it turns into that paste and just kind of dissolves in their mouth, that it's not strong enough for it to be spit out. So this is what I'm going for. This, and you just kind of keep working it. Okay, so I did this. This is your 2 types, and I'm just going to zip ahead and show you the 2 different types I already have made. See, I did learn a thing or two from Hell's Kitchen and watching. So here are the 2 different kinds. This one here has a little different texture, and this one's a lot thicker. So I think that this, I'm going to have a little bit more success with it. You see how kind of easily it's breaking apart? This one isn't breaking apart so easy. It's still a little too putty-like. So this one is the texture that you're going for. So what we're going to do with this then is, when you get your animal, you don't want a long drawn out process on how to give this to them. What our goal is you're trying to aim just between the gums and the lip, because again, this is for an animal that's maybe have a mouth injury, a tooth injury, or a jaw injury. So you don't want to really be pawing and pulling and tearing at that sensitive area, because it would make things worse. So what we're going to do is we're just going to try to get this little ball in between the lips and the gums. And the best part would try to be getting it in towards the back of the jawline, where the upper lip meets the bottom of the lip, back in that crease there. And there's usually a lot of flab or a little extra skin in dogs in that area. So if you can just kind of, you know, don't make a big deal out of it, just go up and just kind of plop this in there, that would be great. They're not going to be able to get it out because, again, it's just going to mush into tiny particles and they're not going to be able to spit it out. If you can't get it in the back corner, then try to get it in the side, where their molars might be on the side of their teeth and lips. So that's what you're going for. And try not to pull and plug on the animal, and just talk to the animal, you know, some good old loving, telling them, you know, they're a good girl or a good boy, and talk really sweet to them as you're doing this, because they might get a little scared because they haven't experienced something like that before. You good girl, how you doing? You good girl. Hi Taj, you good girl. Just lifting it up in the lip. Okay folks, good luck. I wish you well, and I hope your dog has or cat has a very speedy recovery.